I'm talking about the redacted rush. Please chill out.
There's no way that they were that angry. Like, I cannot believe.
People started getting bullied.
They were being racist?
And no, it was like white people bullying them. It was so uncalled for. All the black people was like, stop. Like, it's no reason to attack her. It was a reason to be like, okay, we're not going to support you on board. But to attack her was kind of just dumb. It was over a book. It was stupid.
Booktube is ridiculous.
Yes, I hate Booktube. I might leave this in just so y'all know Booktube is shitty.
Wow.
Hi, Positive Readers. It's Positive Writer today with another video. And today I'm going to be wrapping up my books for the reading rush. This reading rush was a whirlwind of books, and I did not like half of them, and the other half was pretty lit. A lot of stuff been going on. The reading rush was like canceled now or something. It's not. It wasn't a good thing. But I don't want to talk about genre right now. I want to talk about what the books that I read and all that type of stuff. So, I'm just gonna get into it because I have stuff to do. So, the first challenge for this readathon, to read a book that had a cover that was the same color as your birthstone. And my birthstone is aquamarine, and the book that I chose was On the Island by... I didn't put authors on here, and I'm not going to look. This book was trash. I wrote, like, paragraphs about these books this time. I don't know why I decided to do that. But anyway, this book is told over a period of 8+ years, and it's only 285 pages. The main character was acting so young adult. Okay, the book was about an older woman and a younger man stuck on this island for years. I didn't know it was gonna be years, but they were stuck on this island, and they started falling in love. But the thing was, the lady acted like she was a freaking teenager, but despite being like 15 something years older than this man. And it was like so dumb, because I'm like, the only reason why I'm reading this is because I want this romance and this dynamic to be like lit. And he was literally like 15 when they like met, and he like got older, and that's when their romance started. But it was so stupid, and he was one of those like overgrown teenagers. Like, he was like 6 feet or something at like 15, and he only got to like 6'4", like over the whole course of the novel. And and it was like he was like bigger than her despite being on a whole island. Like, she was getting smaller, but he was like getting bigger because he was like wriggling fish or something. It was so YA, and it was like, this book is marketed as an adult romance about like this, but it was more like a YA romance about this. And it really was annoying. They like wanted us to know so bad how big he was getting and how small she was compared to him. They even like said something like that one time, and it was shitty, and I really did not like it. Clipped speech. I hate when books have so many of those one-word responses. It can work, and I read several of these books that were on this list that worked with the one-word response thing, but it's so fake when every other line of dialogue is, okay, do you want some food? Yes. And we go into got some food. Do you want some more? Yeah. Like, it was so stupid. Like, it was trash. It really was bad. I gave it like 2 stars, y'all. One of my good friends that's in the Unfriendly Black Hotties group chat, Mina, she posted this tweet about romance novels that people were so angry over, and basically it was saying, stop in romance novels, stop having that period of time where they like break up, which is like a plot. It's like a plot people put into all romance books where they have to break up by the end and then like maybe get back together. It's so dumb, and I don't read romance, so I don't really know about it. But in this book especially, she posted it around the time I was reading this, and I was like, god damn, I'm sick and tired of this. Because they broke up, and you know they're gonna get back together. It's so lame. Like, I literally hated it. It was bad. And the book was bad anyway. But the fact that it was told over the course of this many years, and like, it was so cheesy, y'all. I really just did not like it. So 2 stars. But I did do that challenge, so cool. The next challenge was a book that starts with the word the. I read The Flight Attendant by, I don't even remember the author, and I did not like this book either. It was a 2-star read. This book was trash too. I gave it like a 2 or 3 stars. I don't really remember how many, but it was just not something. It was not for me. It was the thing I didn't like about it, because the entire premise was like, this lady wakes up in this strange bed. She's a flight attendant, wakes up in this strange bed, and this man next to her is dead. And she's like, what in the world happened? The book was just, it was, the second I started reading, I was like, this is lit. Then the first chapter like passed, and they introduced this international intrigue, spy, foreign Russian plot, and I was done. I knew it was going to be bad from there. And I read the whole thing, and it was like, okay, but it was still, I knew it was not going to be good by the end, because I freaking hate international intrigue in books. I'll watch a spy movie or a spy TV show in a second, but in books, it's so lame and unbelievable to me. I don't know, I don't get it. It's just not for me, and I really just, it was confusing. The main character was so irritating. She's like an alcoholic, which is what accounted for all the lost time and all her not knowing what's going on. And I don't hate alcoholics, but the way that she was written was like, I'm an alcoholic. Like, that was like her biggest like claim to fame. Every 5 seconds, she like getting a drink. You know what I'm saying? It was so stupid, and it was the ending was so bad. I literally loathed the ending. It was so bad. And when the build-up was okay, and then the ending was bad, like, the build-up wasn't even that good, but then the ending's gonna flop like that. It was horrible. It was confusing, and I just hated it. So the next, but I did complete that challenge. So the next challenge was to read a book that you've already watched the movie adaptation of, and this book was All the Right Places by I hate that I can't remember this author because I really did like this book. And it was the first one I liked for this readathon. And it's about this these two teenagers. One is like up on a ledge, and then he sees the other one up on a ledge, and then he's like, get down. And like they both kind of get down. And it kind of goes back and forth between their point of views and stuff they're going through and why they're on the ledge and all that type of stuff. And it was beautiful. I've already watched the movie, like I said, and it did not take away from the book at all. I loved the movie, and I loved the book too, and it was amazing. I love Finch's humor. Like, he's like the best character. I love him so much. I can't really explain how much I love this character. I haven't loved the character like him in a minute. And it's really, he's kind of a great character. I love how obnoxious and pushy he is with Violet, the second main character, and there are so many philosophical quotes and stuff. Like, it was so thought-provoking, this book, and it took a look at suicide and stuff that had to do with suicide that nobody ever really looks about or thinks about, and it was amazing. I really enjoyed it. It really makes you think of how people who are helping people the most are oftentimes the ones who are hurting the most too, and it was sad, and I cried my eyes out. The next, I didn't complete that challenge though. The next challenge was to read a book, the first book that you touch, and I just like put books in a random like generator, and I was like, whatever book picks, I'm gonna get. And the book that they chose was The Lonely by, I don't remember the author again, but this book was not good, but in a different way that the Fight Attendant and the Only Other one good, because it wasn't like disappointing not good. It was kind of just, it dragged, and it wasn't something I was going to pick up anyway. It was on my TBR because I kind of was interested in the premise, which is about this guy who, when he was younger, him and his brother, who was like has some learning disabilities, him and his entire family in this congregation for church or whatever, went back to this place called Lonely, trying to help him basically get cured of his illness or whatever. And it was so stupid to me. It wasn't even really dumb. It was just so, it was dragging on. They painted it as being like a horror, like strange stuff starts happening. It was like kind of lame. It was like a whole bunch of like, I told my sister, like a whole bunch of random farmers running around. It was so dumb. And I expected so much more of it. And it was also stupid. And I just really didn't enjoy it, to be honest. It dragged on. The best thing about the whole thing was the brothers' relationship, because the one brother didn't really talk or anything. He had like communicated with like objects, because he has like a learning disability, like I said. But it was so cute, their interactions, because he would care about him so much, and he like, you know, he was the older one, and he obviously was not even older. I don't think he was older than him, but he just was the one that had like more of like a mental capacity or whatever, so he would like help him. And it was so sweet, and it was cool, and it was nice, and that's the thing that I remember from it. But it did drag on, even though it was like less than 300 pages, which was like unacceptable. Anyway though, I did complete that challenge. The next challenge, read a book only outside, but I changed it around because they realized that was ridiculous because of Corona and everything. So I chose a book that had outside on the cover, and this book was The Missing by C.L. Taylor, the only author I remember because this book was so superior. I just don't know how I could forget. This is not my first C.L. Taylor book. I read Sleep by her, and it was like, alright. But this book was absolutely superiority. Like, I fully enjoyed this book thoroughly. I literally started off this note with you guys. Like, I was so excited reading this book. One of the best books I've read in a while. One of the best thriller books I've ever read in my life. I love the suspense and the way that they threw information at you that left you wondering about each one of the characters. Like, nobody was like exempt, everybody was sus. And I flew through it. And the unreliable narrator, the mom has like blackouts. And I told you, I did not tell you, but it's about this mother who loses her son. Her son like went missing. And he's like 15 years old, so they're like, what happened to this guy? Like, he's missing. He's been missing for like 6 months when the book starts. And she like wants to find out what's going on. The cops don't really care anymore. People are kind of like forgetting about it. But she's like, I want to find out. So she like goes out and does like all this type of stuff, which I love. I love the trope in thriller books where people take the law into their own hands. I freaking love that. But anyway, so yeah, she was kind of doing this stuff. But she has blackouts, so like it accounted for so much lost time and so many like just an unreliable narrator, and I freaking adored her. As opposed to the Flight Attendant where the unreliable narrator was literal trash. But yeah, and she was really sympathetic. I really felt for the mom, and it made me feel so connected to the story and everything that was going on. Like, I wanted to find Billy, which is her son, as much as she did. I was very interested, and I love the payoff and the ending. It was beautiful. I loved this book. It was amazing. I have nothing else to say. It was great. And I finished the book for that challenge too. Now we're on to the worst book I read this month, and the one I didn't even finish. Like, my sister was laughing because I talked to her about like this, and it was so bad, y'all. Okay, I'm going out with a book chat about this. I was gonna do a reading vlog. I'm so glad I did not, but I'm going to do a book chat about it because it was that bad and it deserves it, and I just don't care. But I did not finish this book. This was for the challenge to read a book in a genre that you've been wanting to pick up more, and I read The Deep End by an author that doesn't even deserve to be named because it was so ass. And I don't even remember her name, so I'm not even saying it. But the book was so bad. This book is about this club that has like this is what the blurb says, is what I want to say instead. This is what the blurb said. It said it was about alpha males basically go to this club and they're submissive to women. So, you know, you expect, you know, alpha male is not going to be a sub, but like he is in this book. So basically I was like, look, I want to read some more like adult, like erotica type stuff, I was like gonna try it. I want to figure out what's going on, and I shouldn't have picked this book, but I did. Because I already have, like, I'm pretty sure I wrote it on here. It was so promising at first, even though I freaking hate this trope. Like, in any book, I don't like alpha males. I'm sick and tired of them. Like, we have passed, I forgot how the tweet goes, but, like, we've passed the need. We've, like, evolved as a society enough that we do not need alpha males anymore. I can't stand them in any book ever. So I should have known that this probably wasn't going to turn out good, but I did anyway, because it literally said that they were going to be submissive. So I was like, okay, this sounds like something I can get behind, and it was literally not that at all. It was so promising. It started off a bit rocky, like, because it was rocky because the guy who was supposed to be a submissive, the second you see him, he's like being obstinate and being not, like, he was like challenging the dom or whatever. It was so stupid, y'all. I'm telling y'all. It was dumb. And the way he talks was like, he would like say a lot of like darling and sweetheart and shit. I'm like, this is how you like greet the person who's supposed to be like your superior in this environment. It was so dumb. Anyway, but it delivered. It did deliver quickly. And I was hooked and in love. I loved how they described like the kinks and stuff. I love how they like described, you know, people who have them, and like they didn't kinky shame anybody. They were talking about how, you know, you're not any less of a man if you like this sort of stuff. They were two point of views, and I love how the male character's point of view, he was constantly told, he constantly was told, he was being told by a friend that he was no less of a man, like, for liking this stuff and stuff. And he was actually encouraging him to, like, you know, delve more into it, even though he felt like, oh, I don't really want to do that. The main female character was amazing. She was amazing as far as, like, a dominatrix goes. Like, she was great. I really was, like, I was, like, head over heels. Like, she was amazing. But she was, like, too lenient with him. That's the first thing I noticed, because I told you, he was, like, very, like, lax with her. He was very casual, and I was like, why? And she was kind of, like, just letting him do it because she really liked him and stuff. It was, like, basically what she likes is, like, guys that are, like, really big, like, bigger than her, and that she can, like, then, you know, bring down to her level or whatever, and to get to submit and stuff. So, like, she liked the challenge, and she wanted to do that, and I was like, okay, we're just gonna let that go. And she was, like, being really lenient, and I was like, okay, we're gonna let it go. But I suppose I was too lenient with this dynamic, because the fact that I hate reading alpha males was, like, I should have, like, thought about that before I was like, I think I'm gonna read this. I don't know. But anyway, as usual, I proved myself right. Because at the 200 page mark, which was like a halfway mark of the book, everything went to trash, y'all. I'm serious. Like, it was like a 360 in 2 seconds. The guy, like I told you, who was supposed to be the sub, his name was like Olivia or some shit. I called him Oliver. I did not see the other eye. That's ridiculous. And he was obviously supposed to be the sub, but there was this one scene, and he started like taking control of her, and she like completely let it happen. It was like fine, because they were like so in love. Like, they were just like, you know, the chemistry was like palpable. Like, she just had to have it happen, and it was so out of place to be in this novel. And it was like, she allowed it because it was like his nature, because he's an alpha male, he should be doing this, you know what I'm saying? And because they're falling in love. And it was so stupid. And I was like, okay, look, I'm gonna let that slide. It was one scene, it's okay, whatever. Like, I look at it, y'all are in love, y'all want to be balanced, whatever. I was like, okay, I'm gonna read the rest. And I kept reading. I was like, well, you know, how bad can it be? But they made promises to do this scene where he takes control of her again. Like, they made a promise to do it again. So I know it's gonna probably come up again. But I was hoping that it wouldn't, you know what I'm saying? But and then they kept bringing it up. Like, this guy would not let it go. Like, that he had like taken control of her this one time, and he already would never like address her as her title. She would always like, you know, baby and shit like this. That I thought was very demeaning, because like, this book is supposed to be about somebody who is a woman dominant, and she's constantly being demeaned by this man, and it was like said as like a romantic thing, and I really was not up. Like, this was not for me. And it really shouldn't be for anybody, because if they would have just painted it, like, this is what I say every time a book disappoints me. If y'all would have just put this out there that this was going to be that, I would have like not looked at it, and it would have been fine. And that's fine. Like, go over there, do whatever you want to do. But when you market a book as a certain way and then it ends up being different, I hate that. Like, it literally makes me want to die. And I told you, he kept calling her baby, and that really disgusted me, because I'm like, sir, like, she's not your baby. Like, chill out. And she started that, let's act like a teenager in love. I hate when the women in these books, they're supposed to be superior either in a way like this, they're older than, or whatever. And it's okay if it's done right, but it's so often that these women just start acting like full teenage girls. And it's dumb, because the guys never act like that. They always act like fully grown men at every turn, and it's really stupid, and I'm really tired of it. And it really took away from the point of the book, because the book is not even like a normal relationship where this is happening. This is a dom-sub relationship. This is not supposed to be something that can like be switched at any moment. And she said that at the beginning of the novel, that she never had it switched. So I'm just so lost on why this author thought that would be a good idea, because they're like falling in love. It was so stupid. Why am I talking about this dumbass book so long? I literally have a full book chapter coming. But anyway, what really stopped me from this though, like what made me not finish it at all, It was a completely out of the blue scene. I'm not sure if it was out of the blue because I really wasn't paying attention anymore after that one scene, because I was like, look, I wasn't interested anymore. I really was feeling very bad about this whole book. But I was going to read the rest. But this scene came out of the blue for me. And after the scene I first mentioned, I stopped caring, like I said. And this scene right here was really what did it, because they like walked into a room and I forgot where they were. I was so lost. And then I tuned in for this scene. Oh, they were at a barn. Thank you. They were at a barn and they walked into this room and then he pushed her against the wall, y'all, like literally fully. And then I said, in essence, took her, because we all know what that means. If you read any Avatar book, you know what that means. And then I scrolled down trying to see if it got any better, and she was suddenly paddling him. And I was like, you know what? Fuck this. Because I was like, I'm tired already of y'all. And the fact that y'all think it's okay to switch the dynamic just because they're in love suddenly, it was so stupid for me. And I mean, it was just dumb. And honestly, you do whatever you want. I'm not trying to king shame them or say that they shouldn't be doing this or anything. My point is, if you're going to put that in a book, say that. Like, I don't want to be 200 pages into your book, fully invested in this relationship, and then suddenly they start acting completely different. Like, it was so dumb. The whole story did not know what it wanted to be. And I really don't appreciate that they marketed it as one then and then as one way. Because they marketed it as this being a club. This is like a thing and this is the lifestyle. And then they ended up veering off and like they wanted to be vanilla suddenly. Like they digressed to this normal, generic, basic relationship that I would never like and never pick up ever. It was so stupid. And it was just for the sake of the romance. Because they were so in love. It's okay for them to branch off now. It was fucking stupid. It was bad enough he was as big as the author made him out to be, which I'm going to talk about that so much in my book chat. This man was made out to be like a fucking giant. Like, he was like the biggest man you've ever seen in your life. And it was so stupid how they kept emphasizing that about him. It was just dumb. Like, one time is enough. I know he's big. Okay, you don't need to keep saying it. It was so cringy and dumb. And that the main character didn't mind that, which would be fine. But she let him dominate her on multiple occasions. Like, ma'am. The whole point of this was that, like, it was a challenge for you to be able to dominate, like, and he's just gonna switch it. It's like, what's the point? It was stupid. It was just dumb. I have nothing else to say. But I did not complete that challenge, so yikes. But whatever. It didn't deserve it. I'm not talking about it anymore. The next challenge was to read a book that's in a different country than you, and this is the last challenge actually. And this book was The Silent Patient by, I don't remember the author, which sucked because this was a pretty good book. It was a thriller. It was about this woman who shot her husband in the face and then she did not say any other words. Like, she did not speak about it. She went on trial, didn't speak. Now she's like a psycho ward, doesn't speak. So this guy who's like a psychotherapist is going to go in and try and get her to speak. And I immediately said that the main character has a loud voice of self-doubt, because the main character is a guy. He's like a psychotherapist, like I said. And he immediately started talking about his life and why he became a psychotherapist. And he had like some really, like, he had a really bad dad who like would talk shit about him and say he was worthless and stuff. So he has a really bad like voice of self-doubt in his head. And it makes him overthink and second guess things. But I really like this character because there's so often that you don't see men in this like light. You don't see men in the mental health. I'm like deteriorating. I'm like overthinking. I have attacks, like panic attacks and stuff. That's not usually something that is presented in books, and I really appreciated that. And in All of Our Places, they both did that, and I really appreciated that. There was a beautiful quote in this book about love. And I don't want to read the whole thing because it's kind of just too long. But they were talking about the husband. There was this is kind of a spoiler, I guess. But the guy was talking to his therapist about his wife, and they were fighting one time, the husband and the wife, and she kept saying fireworks, like they had lost fireworks or whatever in their love or whatever. And he's like, as in there isn't, like, this is what she meant, there wasn't any more fireworks between us. And then the therapist was like, we've talked about this before, haven't we? And he's like, about fireworks? And she's like, about love, about how we often mistake love for fireworks, for drama and dysfunction. But real love is very quiet, very still, it's boring, it's seen from the perspective of high drama. Love is deep and calm and constant. Yo, I started crying while reading. I was literally like, I read it on the page and my brain was just like tears, because I really love that quote. Like, the fact they would highlight it in that way. I feel like love is so often portrayed, like this person said, like fireworks. You know what I'm saying? Everybody's so in love with the honeymoon stage of love. That's like, you know, butterflies in the stomach. You know what I'm saying? The whole slow burn thing. But I appreciate it when love is presented in this light of being calm and like it's constant. It's just there, and you know it's there, and that's what real love is. And I love that. Okay, I'm good. Okay. And I said I love that the therapist brought up his childhood and how he might be loving and wanting to please and be enough for Kathy, who was his wife, and a clown clearly if she's thinking fireworks is all love is supposed to be. Just as he had with his parents, because his parents, especially his dad, he obviously wanted to be enough for him, but he was like shitty. So he constantly felt like he kind of wasn't worthy. And I feel like that translated to his relationship with Kathy, and the therapist brought that up, and I love that she translated the fact that, you know, how you're treated in your childhood and how your parents treat you and how you like respond to it can then, you know, manifest later in life with your other relationships. I really loved that. And it kept me on edge the whole time. It was a very good book. It flowed well. It was suspenseful. I loved the payoff. I loved the book. It was great. So I did complete that challenge, and that is it for my reading rush wrap up. I talked way too much, but I kind of wanted to do that. I never do that. Like when I talk at the end of the year, I just kind of like talk about like basic thoughts about whether or not I dislike or like the book, and then I kind of like just stop and I tell, you know, did I finish the challenges or whatever. And it's okay that I didn't finish all of them. I just wanted to read some books, and it sucks that 3 of them were bad and one of them I literally didn't even finish. But you know, it was good. I got those 3, the missing all our places, and then Psycho Patient. I got those 3 in, and those are good books that I'm adding to my favorite books list. So that is a good thing, and that's what matters. So I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you had a good reading rush, even though it's kind of like done now. I hope you read some books that were good, hopefully more good than bad, and I'll see you later with another video. Bye.